Okay, so I got a customer that wanted a original Famicom NESrgb modded, and since I'd never done one before, I took on the project. This will probably be the only one that I'll ever do, because with the HDMI kit coming out pretty soon, I'm not going to offer this service. I'm really not offering any services right now, and yet I still get emails, people asking me when am I going to start doing it again. Maybe never. It just depends on the HDMI kit success. Anyway, about this video, the guy wanted to use one of these converters. It says HD video converter, scart HDMI to HDMI, 720p, 1080p. There is no model number on it that I can see. I'd actually have to ask the owner, but I'm sure most people can recognize it just by that. Probably just a cheap, shitty one. From what I can tell so far, it is a cheap, shitty one. Actually had it working, and I can prove that here. This is RGB, and I originally had this set up using composite sync output from NESrgb through the SCART, and it worked fine, but the converter was not working, and that's why the customer sent it back to me. Now when I got it back, the actual entire NESrgb and adapter plate were completely off of the motherboard, and I only had one glue stick tower on it, so now there's 4. Hopefully that won't happen again. It looks a little red just because of my monitor, it's going out, but you can see that it's working, and I finally got it to work on this converter by messing with the sync. Somewhere in Tim's write-up there is a line or two where he says to use Luma or Y as sync because it's more compatible. So I tried that, and what I got up on, I've got HDMI going in right now. You can see that. I don't know if you can see, it's on number 3, which is HDMI in. And what I had was a black and white screen, and it immediately clicked what that meant. Okay, with a composite sync, I had black screen, and with Luma as sync, I had black and white, which Luma is just black and white. You know, and composite sync is sync only. So I thought, you know what? I bet you if I put composite video as sync to this thing, then I'll get color video, and it'll look like shit. And that's exactly what I've got here. I'll get a close-up of that. This is supposedly the HDMI output using composite video as sync. Now, I don't think it should look that bad. This actually makes me almost sure that what this thing is doing is composite to HDMI and not RGB to HDMI. So that's really what this video is about, is a warning about this box. If you think you're getting an HD or an RGB to HDMI converter box, I don't think you are. Now I've played with the little settings over here. There's really only a SCART and HDMI input switch, and then you can switch if you want 720p, 1080, and then power NTSC, which this is an NTSC machine, and I mean it does all the other 720, all those outputs. But it didn't do nothing until I put composite video as the sync. And so I'm almost positive this guy wasted his money on that converter box, sadly.